Hi everyone, it's me, Melissa. Finally, I'm back a little bit, I guess. Kind of, a lot better than I was. I am multitasking, as most of you moms at home do, and we are feeding this little dragon because we had a hell of a morning already. I apologize for not going live last night, but he did not want to go to sleep and apparently did not like bath time at all. It was not for him. So we won't be doing that before bed again, maybe until he's a little bit older. Normally I can get him down around 10 and he can sleep for like 3 hours, but he took a bath at like 9 and wouldn't go to bed until about midnight. So we were fussy, and most of you all new moms, and well, I guess all you moms, know that the baby kind of rules the roost, especially when they're this little. So hi, so yeah, I just wanted to say hi and check in and kind of let you know what has happened to me over the last month now, and where I've been and why I have really been relying on Natasha to help me with everything MomFit wise right now. So I guess it'll start with him. He was born on May 4th. I went in to be induced 2 days prior to that, right? Wednesday? No, 3 days prior to that, on Wednesday night, and he was born Friday early evening. And it was a horrible experience. Not only did it not go as planned, birth plan wise, which I understand is to be experienced, to be, it happens, right? But with as careful as we had been, because of my heart disease, we went and did some extra precautions. Hi Noelle, how are you? I'm glad you tuned in. So we took extra precautions with extra doctor's appointments, and originally it was going to be a planned C-section to relieve some stress on me, but they decided with how wonderfully the pregnancy went, they thought, hey, she can do a natural labor, no problem. And I should have stood up for myself and fought it, quite honestly. I went in Wednesday night, like I said, and they induced me, and sorry about that. They induced me, and I just wasn't ready. My body wasn't ready, and I probably should have waited an extra week or few days prior to being induced, quite honestly. I ended up laboring for 44 hours total and pushing for almost 8 of those hours. And on top of that, my epidural only took on half my body, so that was awful. So I was getting pumped with extra medicine every time I'd have a contraction, which, as you moms know, towards the end, those contractions come a little bit quicker. So that was hell. And then they took me back to a C-section, emergent, because apparently my cervix, they thought was effaced and thinned out, but when they checked that last time, there was one spot that was apparently coming through. They thought it was his head, and it was not. It was my cervix. So they needed to push my cervix back in, which was fantastic, and then rush me to C-section. So I was pretty much able to say, I guess not goodbyes, but wish me lucks to my family, which felt like goodbyes. And we went back there, and then again, being that the epidural didn't take except for half my body, I was continuously pumped with more morphine, which made my blood pressure drop even more, which, being that I have heart disease, is not a good thing. So they kept telling me to just pass out, which was scary in itself, so I kept fighting it. And then he came out, which is great. but I just didn't feel right. And then they closed me back up and brought me back out, and it took longer than expected in the C-section. And then once that happened, the next day I ended up having a seizure, which they said was from dehydration and all of the drugs that they had pumped me with for 44 hours. Again, I'm not sure why they didn't monitor that, if that was something that could happen, but they just let me do me, and that was scary in itself. So I had a seizure that also lasted almost 4 hours, and that was scary. Hi, Grace. I'm glad you could tune in too. And then I had the seizure, and that lasted about 4 hours on and off, and then it was a week in the hospital, where I got a fever, and it continued to spike. And instead of giving me antibiotics, they decided to pump me with Motrin and Tylenol to subside the fever. Again, I don't know why. But then they sent me home. I was home for less than 4 days. I want to say about 3. And then I had a doctor's appointment. So, hi! So at the doctor's appointment, they checked my cesarean, and they said, oh, well, I'm sorry you don't feel well, but your incision looks great. Here's some over-the-counter antibiotics, which were the first antibiotics that they had given me, quite honestly, since the C-section. And so I took them Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday went back in to be checked, and she told me, oh, well, you look a little red. You need to go to the ER. My husband and I thought, okay, well, that's odd, but okay. So we went to the ER, and Greg said, okay, you know what? It'll take you a while. It's not emergent. I'll take the baby to his appointment. I'll meet you in there. I said, no problem. I got in. They rushed me right away to trauma, apparently, and my incision literally exploded. And I know that sounds gross, but that's seriously what happened. The doctor looked at it, touched it, and it exploded. And then I was in trauma for 8-9 hours with multiple doctors. And once they were able to get as much infection out as they could and do cultures and pump me with antibiotics and IV fluids, once I was stable, they transferred me to another room. It was almost midnight, and at that time, they decided to keep me for a whole nother week. So, I ended up missing pretty much 2 weeks of this little man's life, and that was, I don't want to cry, but it was awful. So, thank God for my family and my husband, because he definitely, he took care of him and our 7-year-old, and I'm thankful for that. And then when I got home, I was on even more restrictions, so thank God Greg took a whole nother week off, because I couldn't even walk up and down the stairs. So, as all you moms know, not being able to even pick up your child and, walk to change his diaper or change his outfit or make a bottle was awful. I had all intentions of breastfeeding, which were going well. That first week, even in the hospital, I was pumping and breastfeeding him. But after the second week in the hospital, when I was pumped with all those antibiotics, they told me to dump it. And by that time, quite honestly, call it selfish, call it whatever you want, but I knew that for me to feel better and to take care of him, I needed to rest. And so I slept. I slept that whole week, and I didn't pump and dump, and he is formula fed and doing great and gaining weight steadily, so I'm happy about that. Good burp. I am currently 4 weeks, a little over 4 weeks postpartum, and still unable to work out, which is fine because I'm taking my time. But once I get that all clear, I'm joining in on this plank variation challenge which I hope you guys all are too. I definitely have been struggling with self-image, self-body image, post-baby, and probably some postpartum depression, quite honestly, because I cry quite frequently. And I think part of that is due to the fact that I have been in the hospital so frequently. I know. And that is definitely something that I think will improve once I can get my life back to normal. And although we have been going on walks, haven't we? It's a lot different than being able to actually, do a plank or a push-up or a squat or anything of that nature. Hi, how are you, Krista? I'm glad you joined in. So my journey will start in a week and a half, and I am excited for it and nervous and scared, which I guess is kind of like nervous, but I know that it's going to go at my own pace and at the pace that my family and I need it to go at, and I'm good with that. I know there's going to be failures and do-overs and start freshes, but that's just, that's life, right? So I hope that this little go live tuned you into what's kind of happened with me and where I've been at the last month now. Hopefully you'll be seeing my face a little bit more as we start getting a little bit more sleep, thank God. And yeah, I've missed you all, and join in this plank variation challenge. Please, I will be in 2 weeks and be catching up. I know you guys will enjoy it. I did it, I want to say, when was it? Maybe last summer, and I had amazing results. So I can't wait to start it and do it with you guys and have amazing results again too. So I hope you have a fantastic day. It's Monday. Hopefully this helps you motivate yourself a little bit, because you know what? A month ago I couldn't even walk to the front door, and look at me now. So have a fantastic day, and I can't wait to see all of your hashtags and your posts, and I'll catch up with you soon. Thanks, loves.